2025, history was made at the first ever World Humanoid Robot Games, where robots ran, kicked, and most importantly for us, punched their way through the competition. Now, naturally, the big question is whether human fighters should hang up the gloves or laugh it off. Events ranged from soccer to track to full-on robot kickboxing, all under China's push to flex its AI muscle. Only, here's the catch. These things are still remote controlled. Translation? What audiences actually witnessed was essentially a 3-day gamer LAN party with very expensive toys. Let's start with the athletics, because quite frankly, they were the most impressive. Right now though, watching a humanoid robot sprint is impressive in that, the baby Terminator killing machine is taking its first steps kind of way. You might clap and even cheer, but don't you pretend you're not afraid. Having said that, the 4x100 meter relay was pretty hilarious. Since the robots aren't capable of running and baton passing, runners just had to trot shoulder to shoulder with their teammates at the exchange points. Apparently, that's still pretty hard for our hardwired friends. And what was the winning team's time? A blistering 1 minute and 48 seconds. To compare that to their meat sack counterparts, Usain Bolt and his Jamaican Olympic team could literally finish nearly 3 relays before the clankers crossed the finish line just once. And the running robots were the best of the lot. The soccer robots, 5-year-olds could run rings around them. If you imagine toddlers chasing a ball but with less coordination, then you're probably still imagining better skilled robots than these guys. And those footballing bots were better than the combat bots. These fighting machines are slow, they fall down, and once down, they stay down for about as long as a hungover college student. And that's a pretty long time. Watching them try to fight suddenly makes Derbyshire toe wrestling, yes that's a thing, look like the rumble in the jungle. And don't get me started on the Tai Chi robots. What is the point of a robot who can master deep breaths and slow meditative movements? They don't have lungs, and if you don't program the robot to be stressed, they're gonna be just fine. But I digress, and this bit is important because here's the thing. This is year 1, and technology doesn't crawl, it sprints. Not like this. Let me explain. Formula 1 cars in the 1950s looked like slightly souped-up roadsters. Today, F1 cars are basically fighter jets with wheels and upside-down wings that keep them on the ground instead of in the air. And that's just 70 years of evolution. Now compare that to AI, which levels up every 3 months. For example, if you asked an AI image generator in 2022 for Prime Mike Tyson versus the Terminator, you'd have gotten pixel soup and nightmare fuel. In 2025, the same prompt gives you disturbingly real moving images like these, because that's how fast things are moving. But there's one big caveat. Robot fights aren't real fights. They're more like a game of Tekken, but with very expensive controllers. It's humans making 2 non-humans do things the humans could never do. That's great and all, but if a sport loses the humans, it becomes a game. Robot combat won't kill kickboxing or MMA because robot combat is something else. It's more akin to a game than a sport. Plus, human combat has drama, pride, and perhaps more importantly, pain. None of these things a robot needs to be programmed with, so how could they ever be as entertaining? For now, human fighters can relax. The robots are too slow, clumsy, and stupid. At least until the uprising, at which point we can only hope Francis Ngannou is still around to lead the resistance. Heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk is in no hurry after reclaiming the undisputed crown, with his camp saying he's earned the right to rest and consider his next steps. That has to hurt the former champ and Usyk's mandatory challenger, Joseph Parker. Usyk stopped Daniel Dubois in round 5 at Wembley last month to reclaim the IBF belt he vacated. In doing so, he became a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion and easily the most decorated active fighter in the division. Almost immediately, the WBO ordered Usyk to face interim champion Joseph Parker, giving both sides 30 days to negotiate before purse bids were triggered. Parker, who claimed the WBO title in 2016 before losing it by decision in 2018 to Anthony Joshua, has been chasing a second title shot for years. But now, his patience will have to be stretched even further. Team Usyk have requested more time and initially pushed for 90 extra days to weigh options. The WBO granted 30 days, which ensures the drama around Usyk's next move will linger at least a little longer. Usyk has accomplished a historic achievement by becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion twice. He has earned the right to choose his own future and to take the time he needs to make that decision, explained his team director. So, guys, don't push the horses. Staying with the heavyweights, two-time unified champion Anthony Joshua's expected fight with Jake Paul has divided fans and pundits alike. But there's two opinions that carry more weight than most. The first is Tommy Fury's, because Tommy is the only man to have beaten Paul in the professional ranks. And Tommy thinks it's a joke. If I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the f*** is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? He asked of the impending massacre. I think my dad said AJ could beat him with his and I completely will back that up. In 2023, the then undefeated Paul took on Tommy Fury, who is the youngest stepbrother of the former longtime lineal heavyweight champion Tyson Fury in Saudi Arabia, and Fury beat him by split decision. Despite his rival's momentum, Paul has since banked 6 straight wins. Tommy dismisses any suggestion the YouTuber-turned-fighter belongs anywhere near an elite heavyweight like AJ. Still, he admits there's an upside. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? If he gets beat by Jake Paul, well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, don't it? No, it does not, but you can see what he's saying. The other weighty opinion is that of Andy Ruiz, who stunned AJ in 2019 for the unified titles. But unlike Tommy, Ruiz thinks Paul could give Joshua some issues. Last week, former pound-for-pound #1 Andre Ward, who retired in 2017 as the undefeated light heavyweight champion, suggested he'd make a return if Joshua accepts his offer to fight. Joshua didn't seem interested in fighting the 41-year-old, and Ruiz thinks it's the right decision because Paul is the better fight. I don't know about Andre Ward fighting Anthony Joshua. I think that's a hard fight. Jake Paul, I think that's actually a little better, explained Ruiz. Probably because he's been active, he's bigger, he's taller, and he's a natural heavyweight. Ward might want it, but Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn insists AJ is far more likely to share a ring with Paul than the Hall of Famer. So get ready for more pigs to fly this Christmas, courtesy of the problem child. To the junior middleweights, the WBC champion Sebastian Fundora looks to be lining up his next opponent just weeks after his latest defense. And this time, he's going after a name. Reports are suggesting that the towering Inferno will put his title on the line against the former longtime welterweight champion Keith Thurman this October as a PBC on Prime pay-per-view headliner. Fundora, 27, is fresh off stopping Tim Tszyu in the 7th round of their July bout on the Pacquiao-Barrios undercard. It was a rematch of their March 2024 fight when Tszyu was the champ. Fundora stepped in on short notice to replace an injured Thurman, and he won by split decision. But Thurman, 36, has fought only twice since losing the belt to Manny Pacquiao in 2019. And this will be just his second bout at junior middleweight. So perhaps this will be the last championship bout of his career if he can't get it done.
Thank you very much, Keith.
And finally, Nick Ball retained his WBA featherweight crown in a result sure to spark debate. 2 judges handed him a wide win over Sam Goodman with scores of 118 to 110 and 117 to 111, despite many analysts and fans having scored the bout to Goodman.
Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.